Next question.
So everybody's asked their questions already.
I've got a question.
Go right ahead, Denny.
Did anybody there use Banktivity and USAA as their bank?
I haven't used Banktivity in years. I tried that once and switched back to Quicken.
Activity, I don't even heard of it.
Is that Denny? Is that an application on your Mac?
Yes, that's because I used Quicken for years and then I switched over when I moved to Apple to Banktivity. And I've had USAA for 64 years now. And now Banktivity has stopped downloading the data as part of the app. You can export from your bank. And I was wondering if anybody else had that problem.
No, I'm a Quicken user and I subscribe.
Gotcha.
And I feel that I've spent enough time in Quicken and have enough custom reports that I wouldn't, it's worth it to me to pay the subscription fee.
Likewise. And Quicken is, Judd Bob, just to let you know, I read something, Quicken is gonna start requiring Big Sur for later pretty soon.
Well, I got later than that.
Okay,
And I'm
I know a lot of people are still on Catalina, which is a solid OS.
and I'm on the verge of upgrading to Ventura,
Oh,
Yeah,
you
Roger.
will have fun.
which Roger went through or started going through today on his Go for Lunch YouTube live cast.
Oh, I had a client that thought that she had to go to Ventura to get the latest version of Quicken to work.
No,
No, you
I don't
don't.
know where she got
no,
that idea.
Quicken still works on Catalina. TurboTax requires Big Sur or newer. So, and they're all following the 3-year. Quicken was supposed to drop Catalina support in January, but for some reason it still works.
Quicken has just had an update as well. I posted, you'll see.
Yeah, they're up to version 7 now.
Ridge, by update, do you mean, recent update, do you mean like in the last couple of days?
That means that Adam Hanks Tidbits reported that Quicken was updated. That was released
Oh, okay.
today.
They have updates every month. They did one update, let me see what version they're on. They updated to 7.0 about 2 weeks ago, and then last week updated to 7.0.1. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening.
So Tony, it looks like it's the fall and you're in the UP.
That's actually New Hampshire.
Okay.
Cow Hampshire, as the natives call it.
When
I
I
can switch over to Arizona. How about that?
that's good. When I lived Vermont adjacent, I know that oftentimes some dairy farmers would paint the word cow on the side of their cow to hopefully not get it shot during deer season.
I was raised on the border of New Hampshire and Vermont, Dartmouth College area.
Cool. I used to live in Milford, just outside of Nashua.
Did
Really
you?
nice little town.
Yeah, I've got a daughter who lives in Chelmsford, which is just across the border in Massachusetts.
Yep. Cool.
Luis, is that you calling yourself 380 8:05.
Tom McGaury, you're muted.
I see that. How many here have taken the Myers-Briggs personality test?
Ages ago,
I just did it. I got 127 ex-FBI agents to take it for me, and I tabulated all the results. It was kind of very interesting. And I thought it might be interesting to do that with the T-Mug, just to see if there's a pattern between computer people and the personalities, that the 16 personalities. Would
I bet
anybody be interested in that? It's a real easy test to take.
Sure.
I bet most of the FBI agents were extroverts.
Well, no, it's surprising. 25% were ISTJs, which is introvert, sensing, thinking, judicials, and 29% were ENSJs. But the SJ was the dominant. Of course, we have a lot of lawyers and a lot of accountants in the FBI, and I think that's why the ST stood out so much.
Oh,
But it's kind of interesting stuff. I don't know if people are interested in that, but I would kind of be curious about how we as a group would score, on the personality test.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and it's a real simple thing. You do it by email. You just pass out the link, and then you tabulate the results. People come in and tell you they're 4 letters, and you just put them in a group and get the scores. And I took the last names off the people so that your privacy wouldn't be violated. So it's but anyways,
it makes no difference in a way for privacy. I'm an INTJ, and my wife is an INTP, so we share 3 of the 4 letters, and it actually makes for a very interesting existence.
well, the NT is a classical research person. My brother had headed up Intel's library, and he had 15 people under him, and 12 of them registered as NTs.
Yep.
NTJs, librarians. So they're research people, and most of them were introverts too. But anyways, think about it.
What's the is the URL easy, or what is it?
What's the
Would you
question?
put the URL in
Put it in the chat.
Well, I don't have it right here, but it's on my webpage.
Then why don't you email it to us?
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
You can also Google for BMTI,
Yeah, it's,
MBTI,
MBTI will get you there too.
yeah,
MBTI.
it's Myersbriggs.org.
There you go. It's based on Jung psychology and stuff. Most psychologists call it pseudo psychology. They don't care for it, but I found it. It was very interesting to do all my kids and see how they differed and stuff. And
Yeah.
and there's 16 different personalities, but there's no one that's right or wrong. It's there's a book called Please Understand Me by Kiersey and Bates, which discusses it's all right to be different. The FBI uses it in their management program so that that you got 15 other people out there that may be different from you, and you gotta understand that. A lot of companies use it for their leadership program. Anyways, think about it.
Tom's latest toy.
What's that?
Tom's latest toy.
Right.
Anybody got any technical issues or questions?
Yeah, I have one. I've got trouble with my listserv. I'm getting periodically. I'm getting a 550 error, which is stating that my server is putting stuff in, declaring it spam, and I can't figure out. I talked to London about it. I'm with Spear IT in London, and they keep saying we're looking at it, and they can't seem to find an answer for it. In other words, about 80% of my mail gets through, but about 20% gets bounced because it's a 550 error. And
Hmm.
it's you know, it says that the server is declaring my postings as spam, and can't figure it out.
That's
You
a
might
tough
need to-
one.
Might need to find a different listserv.
Well, I'm using an old program called Mailman, and there's only a couple, very few companies are. It's an old program,
And
and
you
very
might have to change the program.
well, I can't find a new one that I can transfer over. I've got 3,600 people on there, and transferring all that email across to another program.
Have you thought about breaking up the list into smaller numbers? So it's not what, you know,
Well, the beauty of it is when you send it to the one address, it goes to 3,600 people. And to break it up would, you know, you have to send the thing out 4 times to smaller groups. And I've been using this for 20 years. I mean, it's not something, you know, but I would love to find a new modern program that could absorb what I have and go modern, but I can't find a program that'll do it. It does a lot of things. It takes the email and puts it in a digest format with a table of contents. So instead of reading the individual emails, because I send out 10 to 15 a day, it classifies them in a digest and gives them a number. And so there'll be like 1 through 12 with a table of contents. And then you can pick the messages you want to read and then delete the whole digest with one click of the button. But anyways.
Kevin, thank you for the tip about taking a Handbrake DVD and redoing it as an MP4 using Handbrake, and it worked out fine. It's up on
Yeah.
YouTube already.
yeah, Handbrake is really easy to do that with. So. I like Handbrake because you could also, when you rip things, you could also rip subtitles into it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Is Apple doing anything with artificial intelligence? Does anybody know?
They do.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, it's called Siri.
Yeah, the answer is almost assuredly yes, and they're not talking.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, the Live Developers Conference is coming up.
Yeah, there might be something on WWDC.
I'm sure there will be.
I thought I heard something that they were using ChatGPT with some of this stuff, or starting to think about using it with Siri.
Yeah, I saw something too. Musk came out yesterday or today with saying he wants to set up an AI that deals with truth, and because he thinks there's going to be a lot of misinformation coming out of some of these programs and stuff.
Well, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah,
You got it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the thing.
So there's an
thing-
article. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
The thing that gets to me about ChatGPT is that it has this wonderful conversational style, but what it outputs is drivel. It's not right. It's not provably good. I had a really interesting little article I ran across where what the heck's his name? A guy who actually is based over in Taiwan, and he said that he has run into a combination where he has found someone who is melded together, and it was actually what the heck is his name? The mathematician who does I'm sorry, guys.
Stephen Hawking.
Pardon?
Stephen Hawking.
No, but he's a physicist. This guy is,
Turig,
huh?
Turig. Turig.
No,
He was the code breaker in World War II.
no, this guy is a contemporary. He builds, he has this huge, big, um, mathematical question answering system that he actually will give you correct answers. And the latest thing that he's done is that he's melded it together with Chat GPT as a front end. So it has the gift of gab, but the answers are actually pulled out of his mathematical system and they're correct.
Are you talking about Wolfram Alpha?
Yes.
That's the one that
Wolfram
I
Alpha.
used to use. I was showing somebody ChatGPT the other day and I asked it to write a 3,000 page paper on Steve Jobs. It's kind of interesting.
Well, 60
did?
Minutes had a double session on AI on Sunday, and they were saying that they're able in law exams they can do better than 90% of the students taking the law exam. Now, I don't know. That kind of scares me. And then the CEO of Bard said that he didn't understand AI, but they were going to keep pursuing it because he thought it had a great future and stuff.
My kids are using it to cheat on tests and term papers and all that stuff.
But they wrote a poem on within seconds. They wrote a poem. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, when you've got all of the memory of everything that's been published on the internet, it doesn't take much to reach out and piece together little pieces, and it can seem like a miracle because most people, if you say to them, write a poem, they freeze up and they can't do it, even though they could if they could somehow or other become unfrozen. And it's interesting to see what goes on there.
I asked it to write a haiku about Tucson, and it did it with the right number of syllables. Everything else was really rather pretty, So.
Wow.
And the image creation using AI is interesting.
It
They
is.
posted a picture of the Pope wearing a white puffer jacket, which was generated by AI, and everybody thought it was real.
I don't think you can see that. Yeah, no, not very.
The trouble is if you take everything on the internet, you get a lot of the misinformation along with the correct information.
Yep.
So
No, how can you say that? Everything on the internet's true, or it wouldn't be there, right?
Wasn't there a commercial about that years ago?
Yeah.
Somebody says, oh, I read it on the internet, so it has to be true.
It has to be true. Yeah, right. I don't know if you can see that, but I asked it to make a cactus with horns with a sunset, and you really can't see it. It's too bad. But
turn it into
your background.
The picture is just beautiful.
Have any of you seen the Elon talking about the misinformation interview of Elon Musk? Elon Musk with the BBC interview.
No.
The guy was asking him about Twitter and misinformation, and he turned it around and he says, so you mean to tell me the BBC has never given out misinformation? And it's like everybody publishes misinformation because you don't know what's true or not in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was some BBC misinformation on purpose.
Of
during
course.
World War II.
Oh, yeah.
What's that saying? Read 20% of what you read and only 50% of what you see.
And only believe 10% of it.
And that may change.
That may change.
So did anybody get any new Apple hardware recently?
Still trying to get mine going, but I'm very pleased with what I've got. You know, mini studio display and same old peripherals, trackball, trackpad. The new keyboard that has the push the finger and that does the verification for you is very nice. You know, touch
ID.
Touch ID, yeah.
Just don't forget to charge your mouse every now and again.
I have it on my calendar.
Good.
Apple should have put that charge port in the front instead of on the bottom.
Yeah.
Well,
Hello,
always keep
Logan. Welcome.
Keep an old wired mouse around somewhere in your dusty drawer, just in case.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I have one.
And a keyboard.
And a keyboard.
And if you use Tooth Fairy, they wait until your trackpad is 2% before they say anything.
Tommy, you have a wonderful view of your fan, but not of your face. There you go.
That's better.
It looks like West is to your left, Tommy.
West,
You got
my left, right. I've got three
Venetian blinds or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Kevin, you were asking about new products. We just got a new Apple HomePod.
Cool.
We've already connected it to our Sonos speaker, so that all was really pretty simple. And the reason we got it was uses an intercom between the kitchen and the back of the house. And
That makes sense.
Works pretty good.
Yeah, I got my HomePod because when I take the puppy out at night, I have a scene called Puppy Zone. So I could tell the S lady to turn on the Puppy Zone, and it turns all the lights on in the backyard, the pool light and everything. So when he goes out there, we could see him.
That's true.
Yeah. Better than taking my phone with me when I'm walking out, because I forget that.
You see where the bobcat got in the dog's door and got into the house and attacked the dog and chased the dog out of the house and went to sleep on the dog's bed, and the people came home and found the bobcat sleeping, and the dog is outside scared stiff that the cat was going to get him.
Comfy.
Yeah.
True story.
About 2 years ago, I had a cat that passed away, and my best friend back east kept on getting on me about getting a new cat. So one day I told him I got a new cat, and he goes, "What's his name?" And I said, "Bob." And he said, "Send me pictures." So I sent him pictures of my backyard with the bobcat just sitting right there. We have one stops by here about every couple of mornings, about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
He jumps the fence and goes in the backyard, but we have a wash right behind us. So
That's known as a cat superhighway.
Right.
we have cats, lots of javelinas, a couple of foxes. Somebody down the road said they saw a bear one day.
Oh, nice.
A lot of wildlife. Lots of snakes too.
Mm.
Kevin, you're in Continental Ranch?
No, I'm up in Dove Mountain now.
Oh,
I moved about 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm really up to date. Okay.
So yeah, no, we have a beautiful backyard with mountains and desert behind us.
Nice. Nice.
Fabulous.
And what about a 30-minute drive to get into Tucson, right?
That's a 30-minute drive to get to the Fry's down the road. Come on. It takes me, most of my clients, about 45 minutes to an hour to get into town.
Yeah,
But you know what? I like it up here.
Cooler in summer, right?
Not really. It's cooler when I jump in the pool.
Oh, well,
Yeah, the old house in Continental Ranch, we had somebody gave us a quote for artificial turf once. And to fill the whole backyard was only 700 square feet. And Sue wanted a pool. Definitely not big enough. And our current backyard is 6,300 square feet.
ooh,
So big difference.
See where they're talking about taxing people with pools and also golfers who play on golf courses that require water.
Well, they do tax us. Our property tax went up because they now list us as having a pool.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah, it went up about $900 a year.
I wonder if that dissuades some people from putting a pool in.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You know,
My grandson.
usually people that have the money to put a pool in
Yeah.
have the money, especially these days. We were lucky. We signed all the contracts before COVID. And they told us, like, with the pool that we put in, it would have cost 3 times as much if we were to do it after COVID hit.
wow.
So $900 a year in extra property taxes. That's so the politicians can make a boat payment.
Yeah. But it's Marana, so it's not too bad. Our property taxes aren't as bad as if we were in Tucson City.
Are there any questions of perhaps a technical nature?
Deafening silence here.
I've got.
Has anybody noticed references to wrist temperature in the latest builds of iOS 16, is it? The new one?
To what? What was that?
Wrist temperature.
Is that in your,
Wrist is this or wrist, RSK?
Yeah. So maybe
that would
that's
probably be something for the next Apple Watch. They probably have temperature sensors in there.
Yeah. Sort of interesting that they exposed it this early and didn't hold it off till iOS 17. But maybe it's because some folks are testing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they say that Watch OS 10 is supposed to be a major upgrade.
That's what I was reading, yeah.
So the upgrade I would like to see would be customizable watch faces, where you can take an image and like make your own watch face, or, you know, create one like another real watch.
Isn't there an app for that now? Sort of, kind of?
There used to be one, but it's expensive. It's like $5 a month to have something, and it doesn't give 100% as to what they said it was going to do because Apple won't release it.
A lot of technical people want to see a minutes and seconds face, which Apple still hasn't done.
I missed that, Kurt. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, some of the tech people want to see a watch face that shows minutes and seconds. Hours, minutes, and seconds, and Apple still hasn't done that.
Yeah, and even the ones that have the sweeping hand on, like I have the Ultra, when the light dims, the sweeping hand disappears.
Yes, that's
so
right.
you can't track seconds. There's just no way. And that would be nice to have that.
Yeah.
Well, there's always the timer.
Right.
Yeah, but that's kind of a pain to open up a timer.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
Plus their timer is a countdown timer, not a count up timer. I don't know, does the Apple Watch have a stopwatch?
Yes.
I haven't looked. Okay.
Well, you could try it. Might not be as easy to use though.
Probably not. It's easy just to look at the face and okay, count up by 10 seconds or something like that.
Seemed to me there was an issue with if you tapped in the wrong place, it would create a lap and start over.
Right.
And so that kind of would mess you up if you were trying to time something. Well, haven't heard any more.
I do have a technical question. Kevin, you had posted something on the talk group thing about setting people up with Ventura, that there were things that needed to be done and there were potential problems. Can you kind of run through that again?
Yeah, well, basically what happens when you install Ventura, you need to go through the settings, all the login items, anything that has background settings needs to be turned on. And the problem is, number one, is that when a developer gets their certification from Apple to run a background process, it's not in the company name. Lots of times it's in a developer's name. So you'll see something from Alexander Pavlov wants permissions to run something in the background. And a lot of people will turn that off. But if you have software that guy writes, and it may be something like Carbon Copy Cloner or another software like that, then that doesn't work. Also, you have to, on a lot of applications, have to re-give it permissions. Like, for example, when we're talking about Carbon Copy Cloner, if you upgrade to Ventura, Carbon Copy Cloner will think it still has all the permissions. But when you look in the proper places where Carbon Copy Cloner is supposed to have full disk access to both the application and the helper, they're not listed there. So you have to manually go in and enter them. And it seems to work, but I just don't trust it if I can't see that it actually has permissions. And a lot of the settings in Ventura have moved and they're hidden.
And so you may get repeats every time you restart the machine. It'll say such and such needs background permissions.
Right.
And
like, for example, I use VMware a lot. Every single time I launch a virtual machine, I get an alert that a background process has started. So, and you can't turn the alerts off. They're notifications from the system with no settings on them. And another thing is, like, as I was saying, permissions, a lot of antivirus software, when Ventura first came out, everybody says their antivirus software stopped working. And it actually didn't stop working. What you had to do is re-give it permissions manually. Once you gave it permissions to do what it used to be automatic in Monterey, then it started working.
Some of the apps will direct you on what to do about this, but unfortunately,
yes
they're
and
few
no.
and far between.
And there's a glitch because they want to give you accessibility options, and there's two different places for accessibility. So one is system accessibility and one is file accessibilities.
What was that? What was that?
What was that, Jerry?
What was the second one?
One's for when you go to your system preferences, you see accessibilities.
Yes.
If you go to if you go to your system settings and go to privacy, there's another accessibility in there.
Oh, okay.
And so something that wants to give it the security accessibilities, it'll open the wrong preference pane. And it looks in the wrong place every time you launch the app.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been holding off going to Ventura because it just doesn't sound like it's worth it. I don't see why I should go.
I've been running it for a while. It works fine. The liquid text is an amazing feature. And what that is if you see something on the web with text in it that you want to copy, just take a screenshot of it. And it takes the text that's in an image and OCRs it automatically.
That works when you take a picture with your phone. It works the same way.
Right.
When I upgraded to Ventura, the email didn't transfer. Yahoo email did not transfer to Ventura.
That's typical. Any third-party email, you have to go in and give it permissions.
Well, I think it's more complicated because Yahoo was bought by AT&T. So now AT&T was saying that it's Yahoo was Yahoo's problem, and Yahoo saying that it's AT&T issue. So I don't.
All you need to do is go into your internet accounts. It's under your settings, and
Okay.
locate the account, delete it, and then re-add it. And it should work fine.
Delete what?
Delete the Yahoo account from your internet accounts.
Is that going to affect the old computer? Oh no, that's on
Nope,
the.
it has nothing to do with the old computer.
So delete the internet Yahoo, and then
Right, and
install again.
then re-add it again.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
Good luck on it.
I have an iMazing question. I have iMazing on my Mac, and then my phone, my wife's phone, my iPad, my wife's iPad. Time was when the backups would just happen. Now all of a sudden, every time there's a backup, it asks me to go out to my iPad and type in my code every time. Same with my phone, same with my wife's iPad, and so on. So it just doesn't happen automatically anymore. I gotta go running out and enter everybody's codes in order to do it.
That's an iOS 16 feature. It's a security feature. And so what you need to do is change your interval on iMazing from daily to manual.
Okay.
And then what I recommend, what I do all mine on a Sunday night. So on Sunday night, I launch iMazing and do the first one, go to that device, enter the password, go to the second device, and do it that way. You really don't need it more than once a week, even though the recommendation is daily.
All right. Okay. So you still have to do it, but what you're saying is you're doing everybody at once.
Right, and you're manually doing it. So you tell iMazing to do the backup. So you click on the iMazing icon, and then you click on the down arrow to the right of it and say backup now. And then that device within a couple of seconds will say it needs the password. It's a white screen that does it, which shocked a lot of people because it's different.
Yeah, but it works.
Right.
Okay.
I've taken up doing mine at about 7:15 in the morning, which is when I get up. And I'm doing 2 of them right now. And but I like your idea, convert it over to a once a week.
Yeah, and actually what a lot of people are finding out is that you really don't need iMazing. If you're just going to do it once a week, you just manually select your iPad and just do a backup.
What do you click to make that happen, Kev?
You click on in the sidebar in the Finder, you'll see your iPad listed.
Mm-hmm.
You click on that and then click on the backup now button.
Oh, okay.
And then you don't use iMazing. The advantage of iMazing was the set it and forget it type of thing.
Exactly. But given that you can't forget it anymore,
right,
you may as well take the simpler route.
Kevin, can we direct those iMazing backups off the startup drive?
Yes.
Onto a different drive?
Yeah, what I do is I have it running on one of my servers, and I have it on a separate hard drive. And each device has its own folder. So we have 2 iPads, 2 iPhones here. So I have in my iMazing partition, I have Sue's iPhone, Sue's iPad, Kevin's iPhone, Kevin's iPad. And the backups only go into those. And the thinking of that is if I was ever need to restore it, I could drag those over, take the drive out, plug it into my laptop, and then have local access to it.
Yeah.
Where do you set that?
If you go into iMazing, let me bring up my server. Hold on a second.
Let's see, I see backup, but I see,
So you go into options. So open up iMazing
Okay.
and if you see, like, say for the iPad Pro, or I'm sorry, say for your iPad, click on the down option, down arrow and go to options.
right,
Okay. See where it says location backup or backup location, third item from the top.
no,
Yeah, I see it.
Click on change. And then you could add a backup location. You want to create the folders first.
I see show backups, but not backup location.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let me see. Then you're
This
at the
is-
wrong, you're at the wrong screen, Chris. So
Okay.
open up, click on the iMazing icon and go to options.
Well, I
You
just
see
see
that?
my two devices. Oh, options up
Yeah.
there.
No,
Okay,
no, to the right of the first device
right,
in the pull
okay.
down. Go to options and then you'll see for automatic backups, backup
I got it.
encryption, backup location, backup archiving, Wi-Fi connection, device settings, and additional options.
Oh, that'd be great.
What's
Yes,
wrong with doing the
excellent.
what's wrong with backing up to the cloud? Mine does it automatically.
When you back up to the cloud, it doesn't back up all your information. It only backs up the preferences, number one. When, God forbid, you break your iPhone, something happens to your iPhone and you get a new one, you have to download everything from the cloud. If the app is no longer available, you're screwed. Sorry, the pun. Like an example was I had a client that cracked her screen, went in, got a new iPhone from Apple, downloaded it, all of her apps, and it replaced 1Password 7 with 1Password 8 because 7 is no longer available on the App Store.
Yeah.
Okay. I had trouble with way back when with iMazing and stopped using it because it filled up my disk, and I was unable to keep it to keep the size very reasonable. I found no way to keep only 2 or 3 backups available.
That's why iMazing lets you put it on an external drive. So you could do that, and like I have it on a 500 gigabyte SSD.
But I need to have that connected well, obviously I need to connect it. But you cannot call it automatically, call the number of backups automatically.
Yeah, you could tell it how many you want. It's under the archiving section. You could change it to 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or a year's worth.
Go back and look at it again.
But again, iMazing it's good if you have an external drive for your backups. And you have to remember now it's not automatic because you do have to enter your password on your Mac when it starts doing the backup. I'm sorry, on your iOS device.
Right.
Make it as easy as possible.
Okay, well, it is time for our break before the general meeting, so we're going to stop this recording. You guys can talk amongst yourselves, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock.
Later, guys.
Don't touch that dial.